Opixer.
All right, I'll just do 3, 2, 1, and then go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, yeah, so this is the snake pass. You play as a snake, if that wasn't already clear, and you have a little bird that hangs out with you too, and he can lift you up and fly you around. And basically the way the game works is we have to go and collect 3 gems in each level, and then the exit will open, right? And then we head back to the exit. And you'll actually see him doing some weird stuff where he kind of points his head up like that and wiggles back and forth in a way, and it looks very odd, but trust me, it's because that's the way you go the fastest.
Well, like, I mean, you're a snake, right? And, like, snakes gotta wiggle.
You gotta wiggle because you're a snake. It's gotta be realistic. And so
Yeah,
collect the gem.
And probably explaining like the first thing I did, we did a time skip, and all you have to do for that is you need to spam snake vision twice, and then you skip the initial time at the beginning here like that. You can also use the same thing to skip respawn animation, so you don't have to also wait for the animation to play.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff like that in this game that's just, you know, you just do the wiggle.
All right, my position wasn't good there, so I'm gonna go up the easy way.
I wanna say that it looks really easy, but there are definitely some seriously difficult skips that happen later on, where you can lose a lot of time. So, you know.
Yeah, there are some skips that are just, I don't know, like they don't even look that bad, but they're actually pretty difficult. Like you have to be pretty precise with your positioning.
Hurricane Heights ones are pretty bad.
Yeah, so those are like almost the last level of the game. You'll see those later. They're pretty bad.
Yeah, and so, but pretty much the premise is always the same. Get to the gems as fast as possible, and then get, I don't know, sent off to heaven, I guess?
Yeah.
I never thought
Yeah,
about what happens to him at the end of the level.
Yeah, I don't really know what to call that.
You get eviscerated.
I would just call it a portal, probably,
Yeah.
to the next upper world.
I mean, I think they call it like a gate or something, because you gotta get the gate keys, right? So,
Jeez.
or the gems, or I don't know. It's complicated.
Yeah, it's fine. He's just a snake. Don't worry about him.
Yeah, it's just
Even
a
if
fun
they're-
game, and they just like slapped a story over it, but that's not important.
Yeah, the story's really basic.
Yeah, what, like there's an evil...
This shows up, figure out how to leave, so he just takes all these gems out and throws them everywhere.
Yeah, and so you get the gems back, because that's what snakes do. I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you took snake class in high school, but...
Oh yeah, also I should note that the snake is a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Don't think about it too much.
It's perfect.
Yeah, don't try to feed your snake salads, it's not gonna work.
Did we talk about like the characters' names?
No, we didn't. The snake's name is... Oh wait, what? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So the snake is named Noodle,
Yes.
and the bird is named Doodle. So it's pretty great.
They're actually
And,
pretty great names.
Yeah, Doodle is like a hummingbird, which is pretty obvious, and Noodle is, he was based off like a coral snake, but then they changed the head a little bit, I think.
Can we talk about how you can start moving before the countdown is done?
Yeah, I talked about the time.
Yeah, you
skip there.
basically just like mash a button, and then it's just
Ooh,
like,
that's almost bad.
it's like, oh, you are in this thing, like it's like snake vision, and usually you can use it to find collectibles, but for some reason if you go into it like as soon as possible, like as soon as you enter the game, then it just like lets you go during the timer. It's really strange.
Yeah, so we're just cheating, but it's okay because the game lets us do it. And also, there's another thing he does that you're not really supposed to do. Snakes aren't the best climbers. I don't know if you've ever seen a snake climb, but they aren't great at it. But for some reason, if you like nudge yourself into a corner and have the bird pick you up, you can just kind of climb up corners for no reason.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
That's,
Oh,
that's what we
that
call, like,
was.
elevators.
Don't mind that. That's not supposed to happen.
No, it was intentional.
Yeah, it's
uh,
fine.
To abuse, you know.
It's alright. It helps us save time later.
It's a RNG manipulation.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, sometimes you'll see him coil up to get some height and then go for, like, kind of lunge forward to try and get somewhere. And that becomes really important in some later skips. You actually need to get a really good coil to have enough height to get to the area you need to get to.
Yeah, usually 2 coils is like the good amount to do that, so you're safe.
Yeah, like on the later levels, there's some like skips where you need quite a bit of height in order to like get far enough.
Alright, so let's hope I don't mess this up, because if you
Yeah, so-
if you go too much on a straight angle for this, your tail will kind of bounce and go down one of the other slots where you won't be able to pick up the gem with your tail.
Yeah, so basically there's a gem down there and you're supposed to like go through an area and like I think you swim underwater and then you eventually get to the gem. But we figured out that you can just like hang your tail down the grate and just pick it up.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't get the speed off of that. You can kind of I guess I'd call it like just grinding on the sides to get like a bit of extra speed.
Yeah, sometimes you can come off that like pretty fast.
This game's basically Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was kind of bad. It worked out. So, sometimes you
climbing
kind of
up
get stuck
objects
there, but
Yeah, climbing up objects isn't always the best. Like you have to wiggle quite a lot.
Yeah. It's a little weird, but also the game kind of controls surprisingly like how you would expect a game where you are a snake to control. And you mostly control the head and where it's pointing, but it allows you a lot of control over how the body wiggles back and forth, you know? So, if you haven't played this casually, it's definitely worth trying. It's a very cool game. And I mean, who doesn't want to be a snake? So, Opixer has world record in this category, correct?
yes, I do.
Yeah.
And Spy is pretty good at this game as well. So, we've got some real experienced Wiggle Boys. That's what they call
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Experienced Wiggle Boys, yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't wiggle because in a different patch. So in patch 0, you could have Doodle pick up your tail, and then you would just go. And like there was also another kind of movement glitch. It's like easy controls exploit, and that was like your
Oh, that
race
was
car.
really nice.
But it's not fun to do because you have to like mash A and D on the keyboard, and like you can't use a controller, which is
Yeah.
everybody likes controllers for this game.
The way
So-
the exploit worked is you had to mash as quick as possible A and B, and it was pretty unfun. So a lot of people were like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to. This isn't even how snakes work. They don't wiggle that fast. So luckily the developers are actually pretty cool, and I think one of the reasons they took it out was they were talking with people.
Alright, nice, I didn't die there.
Yeah, there's a developer in our Discord, and so sometimes we ask him for like for help with stuff that we need, and just he's a cool guy.
Yeah, he's pretty.
His name is Whiskers. He does like sound design, but you know, he works with the rest of the guys, so he can basically get us anything we need.
Shout outs to Whiskers. And also, you'll see like a lot of the way you're intended to do this stuff is like these pipes, like bamboo pipes, I guess. You're supposed to coil around them, kind of how he's doing now. But anytime you can avoid that and just go straight, he's gonna try and do that as much as possible.
Yeah, we're skipping like most of these levels. We're not even doing the whole entire level.
Yeah, there's a lot of like puzzle platforming, but with this you can just like climb everything.
Yeah, there's a bunch of switches and like spools you rotate, which we mostly skip those, but there are some instances where we have to use those.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool how much like the movement allows you to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know. Look at how much the snake can point his head up. He's a strong snake.
Very strong.
Yeah, I'm not even sure, like, holding his head up the entire time is the fastest way, because it seems like if you're in flat areas, you might move a bit faster without holding it up, but I feel like I still gotta do a bit of testing in this game still.
Yeah. It's always hard. I think a lot of people who don't speedruns don't necessarily realize how much, like, sometimes figuring out whether it's like recordings and go into, like, I don't know, Premiere Pro or something and go frame by frame and see, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of the time figuring out how good strats are, it's just boring, like sitting down like you're almost a scientist and really looking at frames. I don't do any of that. I just let people tell me what's the fastest and then I play the game.
Yeah, I think it's much more fun to just let people tell you how to do it.
Yeah, but that's why I don't have world records, so. Clearly. And also, do we have some time for donations? I'm not sure.
Yeah, go for it.
We actually don't have any donations, so you are good. You can continue.
Alright, cool. Yeah, well, I mean, if you're enjoying the run, be sure to slither on over to the donation page, because the rest of these donations will go towards ESA 2018, the best marathon of all time. Minus Hackathon,
please.
obviously.
So what charity is it?
Save the Children.
Okay, that was really close. I almost lost it there.
So any money after our goal, which has already been met, will go to Save the Children. So it's a pretty good cause.
It was pretty awesome, but not as awesome as Snake Pass.
Wow.
I've made this joke twice already today. I don't know. Charity's pretty cool. Never mind. I take it back. Also, the reason this is... Yeah, do you want to explain?
Yeah, okay, so somebody asked why it's NG+, and basically, it's New Game Plus because in order to, like when you beat the game, you beat every level, and then you can play the time trial mode, and the time trial mode doesn't have, like, cutscenes, and every level has, like, in the normal mode, there's a cutscene at the end where Doodle just like circles around the gems at the end. And those aren't there in time trial mode, so it's quite a bit faster, even on levels that don't have like actual cutscene.
Yeah, basically you just don't have to wait as much.
Yeah, like there's ways to like skip the cutscene triggers in 100%. I've only played the 90% category.
Yeah, understandable. It's faster. So also another thing we haven't mentioned, but it isn't necessarily insanely important, but these worlds are kind of themed. So we're right now on World 2, which is like a water world, right? And
Yeah.
the world after this is a fire world. So as you can tell, it's a lot more dangerous. There's a lot more stuff that can actually kill you other than just falling off the map on those worlds. But it's also pretty cool.
Yeah, these first two worlds, there's not that many hazards that will kill you unless you make big mistakes.
Yeah, big mistakes.
Yeah, so the first two worlds are like they're pretty friendly, but there's like a lava world, and then there's an air world, which like it doesn't really sound that bad, but there's
it's bad, all right.
Yeah, the wind world is actually, even casually, the
worst.
wind world is so hard. I think I spent like almost 40 minutes on like one level that I could not finish.
There's just two skips that always have the potential to end a good paced run in this game.
Yeah. It's I mean, you know, that's pretty common for any good speedrun. You need to have things that just kill your run and are way too hard to do.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Alright, on to the fire levels.
Yep, so now we're headed on to the fire levels, which are super spooky.
These levels I just recently found like a couple second faster strats for too, so we'll see those.
Can I just
Oh.
point out that you just elongated your S's?
Did I?
Because it's a snake game? No,
I
not
didn't
you,
want-
Opixer.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
I have
I'm
not
gonna let
noticed.
you go with that.
I didn't want. you
That
to know.
needs to be pointed out.
That wasn't a snake pun. I was just telling you to be quiet.
Yeah, I figured that.
Yeah.
So this level is it's really weird. There's like 2 or 3 different levers, and like if you pull them in order that you're not supposed to pull them in, because we just like hop island to island, then we like break the order that the game functions. I don't really know how to explain it better than that, but it's really weird.
All right, so sometimes when you pull these certain switches, the physics, especially on that ball there, can take a while to set in place and turn the platform around. But luckily, we didn't get that here.
Is there ever an issue of like the ball not actually going into the hole or anything?
I mean, there's some physics on later levels where the blocks will just go flying if they don't fall right.
But it doesn't like lock you out from completing the level or anything.
If it falls off the map, it should respawn. So
I think the only issue we've had like with the ball is somebody, I think it was James, like had a plan to, like he went up on top before pulling the lever and like making the ball drop, and he just like pushed the ball and like rode on the ball, so like it's a little faster.
yeah, that's really risky.
It's pretty sketchy, yeah.
That's pretty awesome though.
Yeah, you pretty much have to position yourself like equally on both sides so you can keep it from like rolling off of the lip you have to push it over.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright, so let's hope I don't die here, because this is definitely the easier strat to do this that floats have found, which I'm thankful for. Because the other will lose a lot of time if you fail it.
And like it looks pretty easy, but a lot of these skips are a lot harder than they look, which I guess can be said for a lot of speedruns. But I think especially for this game, the developers did a really good job of making it look like a snake, really. Like it looks super natural. So not supernatural, but incredibly natural. Mean 2 different things. So yeah, what he's doing is actually pretty hard in a lot of areas. So yeah, that was the first level in the fire world. As you can tell, they get quite a lot longer. But, you know, nothing Noodle can't handle. He's a good boy.
And a good example of things that look easy but are really hard is this jump. Because like you can jump from a couple different places to a couple different places, but it's not really an easy jump.
I got it.
From any of the spots.
Alright, that was a good cycle, but it took me kind of a while to get to that.
Yeah, figuring out how to coil up these things, even in like especially my casual playthrough, it took me so long. I didn't want to figure it out because it's kind of weird. It's like a weird movement to do. So I instead opted to like find ways to skip around all the things I had to climb up. But eventually you have to. So
yeah, like getting the just like climbing around on bamboo and stuff, just like getting all that movement natural is pretty difficult.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I'm not a snake in real life. So it may sound like it. Yeah. I look like one. I'm like Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, and you can really tell how much we're skipping here, because there's so many areas in the background that we just skip and don't go to at all.
Oh yeah. Like, you essentially make this game look like it's just walk from point A to point B and grab the thing, but so much of this is actually puzzles you have to solve, pulling levers and putting blocks into holes, you know, but we don't do any of it. We just slowly.
And one of the things that makes that possible is that in this game, it's not really open world, but it like all of the levels. It's not like you have to go in one direction first. So like a lot of them you can do different gems at different times, and so you can just go in any order you want, and that's really useful for the speedrun.
Alright, there's one of the new strats that I found. There's another one coming up here.
Wow, that was really interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't save a whole lot of time, but, you know, 2 seconds is 2 seconds. And now, usually we climb up there, but I found that you could come over here instead.
Yeah, so, and there's just a lot of, like, because of what Spy said, the open worldness of this game, there's just a lot of stuff you can do that maybe the developers didn't intend, but they'll allow you to do, you know? So finding the actual optimal route isn't necessarily easy, and there's definitely, like, always going to be places to optimize things, which is pretty awesome, you know? It gives some serious longevity to the game.
I'll probably talk about it later, but there's a level in the last world, in like the sky world, that we've changed. I think it's the last level actually. We've changed the order of the gems multiple times because just like finding things that are slightly faster.
Yeah. I actually always think that's really cool. It's like, how do you, which gem do you go to first? Like, and where do you go to from there? It's not always an obvious answer.
Yeah.
Also, again, even like climbing up some of these slanted surfaces looks pretty easy, but if you're casually playing it for the first time, it's kind of a muscle memory thing you've got to get used to.
Yeah, also if you're trying to like climb over some rocks and stuff, you can easily get stuck. I'm not gonna do this skip here, but you can jump across this gap here, but I don't want to risk it.
Yeah, and this is the last level in the fire world, so we are making amazing progress.
It's okay. You got
It's
it.
hard to speak, dude. Thanks. I made it. I'm trying to think of snake
on this
puns,
level,
but
you can.
I got nothing.
On this level, if like, there's the checkpoints are really far apart, like from what we grabbed. So if you die in one part, because there's like you can kind of go two different ways at one point, and if you go like a riskier way, you might fall into lava and die, and then you lose like 3 minutes.
Yeah, there's also a cutscene that I can skip on this level that I'm going to try, but I don't think I'm going to jump off the platform, because you can get yourself stuck, and the positioning is really weird when you're moving during a cutscene. And you get yourself killed by the coals that you can fall into.
Right, yeah, so like when you activate levers and stuff, you a lot of the time the game makes you watch what's happening. So you can still move during those, correct?
If you do the cutscene skip, yeah.
Right, okay. So, yeah. Basically, he's gonna try and activate a lever and then move to a better position during that activation. But it's obviously really risky. It's always really easy to walk off in the lava when you can't see where you're going. And you may not have noticed, but sometimes the snake burns his tail a bit. And it hurts, but he doesn't die immediately. So lava isn't actually an insta-kill, but if you stay in it for too long, or you get hit by it too many times, it actually kills you.
Alright,
So
I'm
you
gonna
can,
take a while to set this up here, because you can die if your tail's like off the edge like that.
like during the cutscene it'll kill you.
The coals, yeah.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, and so once again, you can see the snake screaming every time he gets hit by the lava. Don't laugh. He's a poor guy. It's not funny.
I don't think that it's screaming. It's just
Okay, so I got the skip,
like
so I
opening
can
up.
move during this cutscene, but it's best to wait a bit, and then I'm just gonna kind of wait here so I don't throw myself into the coals. You could kind of see some of those. Yeah, that's kind of like stuck in the wall because it glitched out.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be floating there.
Man.
And even if you if you don't do that cutscene skip there, you can kind of just like wrap around the lever, and if you time it right, you can just like hang off the edge so you fall down. But sometimes it doesn't actually activate the lever, so that's a little risky.
Yeah. You can also get stuck under the, or well, I mean it eventually pushes you out, but you can get kind of stuck under those when they fall. Almost thought this was Hurricane Heights.
Yep, and so now we're on the final world, right?
Yeah, this world is cool.
You wouldn't think an air world would be that bad. You'd think the lava world.
All right, so I'm gonna try one of the hard skips here. Hopefully I can get it. I'm gonna go off the side here, and I'm gonna wiggle for my life. Okay, the camera almost messed me up, but we got it.
Good job.
And that saves like 3 seconds, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty significant.
Or even, yeah, maybe 5 seconds.
You can drop down a little farther to the left, but then you still have to like wiggle around a pillar and then go across the bridge. But if you just drop down, it saves quite a bit.
Okay, let's hope I can get across this. Alright, good.
These are not easy things to do, like I said before.
On these windmills, there are some really optimal cycles you can get, and some of them are really difficult to get.
But of course,
cycles are
gonna get him because he's a god.
Yeah, cycles are a big thing in the air world, and they can kind of really
that was
run
close.
because they just like if you get a bad cycle, you can't really do anything about it to speed it up.
It's also probably good to note that like the physics in this game work differently at different frames per second. So if you're like playing on console, the physics will kind of work a bit differently.
Yeah, I think you go faster like under 30 FPS.
Yeah, like if you're under 30 FPS, you have like a less chance of getting stuck on stuff.
That's weird. Time to play this game at 10 FPS.
Oh yeah, somebody did that, and they did the first level really quickly with that. So we kind of have to have a strict rule of like how much FPS you have to run this game.
That makes sense.
Or else it's just not fair.
And also, it's not very fun to play games at 10 FPS.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yep, and that was the first level, which is pretty hard. Like I said, one of these took me like 40 minutes.
Yeah, now we're getting on to the last two difficult levels. This level probably being the hardest in the entire run. So let's hope everything goes well here.
Yeah, and this
Alright, good.
This wiggling kind of is. I can understand it being nauseating for some people, so I apologize. But luckily, it's not the old wiggling where you had to mash back and forth constantly.
Yeah, I kind of also move my mouse around a bit because I'm using mouse and keyboard. It kind of helps with speed a bit. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab this checkpoint, and we're going to... actually, you know what, Spyman, can you explain this a little bit?
Yeah, so up here there's like... you can get on this arch, and then if you get enough height and distance, you can...
Okay, that should be good.
You can, like, put part of your body in... it's kind of like a sphere that triggers being able to go back and forth on that, like, wind bridge. So if you do it right, you can die there, which it is an intentional death, and then you can go onto this pillar and zip up like that. And before we didn't realize that, like, you could just get that checkpoint. So we were trying to... kind of like get in the checkpoint and have us shoot back up, which wasn't very consistent, but it did work sometimes.
Alright, now here's the hardest part in this level.
So now they do something slower, but is more consistent.
Let's hope I can get this first try, but if I have to try it a couple times, it's not too bad.
Yeah, these are some insanely difficult skips, but
Okay, that wasn't good. So for this, it just seems like there's like a perfect spot that you have to hit to get up, and sometimes you just throw your head on the corner and it doesn't work out as well as you want it to.
how much time does this save?
I feel like it would save more than 10 seconds, maybe.
Is this first try or?
No, this is probably like the third try. I had to kind of reset a bit, but we didn't die, so that's the good thing.
Yeah. What would you say, like, if you got it first try, how much time?
Quite a lot because there's
Maybe 15 to 20 seconds. I feel.
Okay.
Also, when you grab this gem, you can move during the cutscene, but unless you know you're going to be hitting the right direction, it's more safe to not try to move during that cutscene. But you can put yourself across during the cutscene. That will probably save like 3 seconds or so.
And something interesting to note there is, like, if you grab a gem, and then, like, you die, you grab the same gem and you grab another gem, it still, like, does the cutscene. So you just need to grab 3 gems. It doesn't actually have to be, like, 3 different gems.
Alright, so here's the final world and level.
And then we're done, right? There's no secret, anything crazy.
Nope.
No, this is the last thing.
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
since we're just doing time trials, there's no end cutscene or anything, so...
Right. So I guess be ready on time, but this is a pretty long level.
Yeah, I'll call it out.
Yeah, so the order of gems of this level has changed quite a bit. So, like, I think going to green gem first is pretty consistent. But we used to do that, and then we would turn around, go back a little bit, and then bird coil up, which I don't think there are really many of those in the run anymore.
Yeah, there's only like 2, I think, in
yeah,
the
there's
entire
like 1
run.
or 2. But then we figured out that you can grab this gem, you can drop back down to the start, and then I'll explain it more when you get up there, but then you go up and you, like, climb up a pillar, and it's actually faster.
Okay, also here, once you hit, like the, I guess the checkpoint that you can go across there, it's much easier to get it the second time. So you can grab your tail all the way down there instead of, like, touching the wooden planks and then going over.
Yeah, so now, now we can just, like, wiggle up this, this pillar, like, holding up the platform, and head over to the red gym. And, like, this route has changed so much. There have been, like, there was, like, an insane way to get to green gem where you, like, climbed up on something that's not even part of the level, and then just, like, jumped down to another part of the level that we don't go on for. Yeah, just to get the green gem, but it was really complicated, and I think about the same speed.
No, this is just a lot less dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, please. Alright, so I'm probably gonna have to wait for the next cycle here. So I kinda...
Yeah, this is where cycles can...
I didn't get a nice coil there.
So what is the world record for this game?
It's like 33 minutes and 20 seconds, maybe?
Okay.
But, Twitch, for some reason, like, deleted the VOD, so I kind of have to, like, redo a run.
Well, here you go.
Yeah.
World record incoming.
Yeah, the world record is 33:36.
Alright,
And
good.
some
We
of
didn't
these-
have any major fumbles during this run. Let's hope I can get up here without getting thrown off by the wind. Which is good, and it's all easy from here on out. The wind easily pushes us towards Yellow Gem. We just go up and go to the last, the gate.
Yeah, so time is coming up really soon.
It seems like a short game, but this game's about 3 or 4 hours. It's definitely worth picking up if you haven't played it.
Yeah, it's a short and sweet speed run. And time.
Awesome.
Right,
Good job.
nice job.
All right, what was my time?
Have a good run.
Your time was 34:46.
That's not bad.
I just want to say really quick, thank you, Opixer, so much, and everyone in chat, please thank this guy because one of our people had to drop out, and this guy came at a moment's notice to pick up the run, even though he was not ready or prepared, and now he gets an amazing time. So, shout out to Opixer for being the best.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Of course, dude. Thanks so much.
Wow.
And well, and one more thing, remember that all the money after this point goes to the Save the Children Foundation. So feel free to keep donating, everyone, and watch Lifelike's run coming up because it's awesome. Thanks, Opixer.
All right, good.